Hello and welcome to my channel Leader in Making. And I am so excited to invite Mr. Justin Raj today. I was thrilled to see his wide experience and exposure, that too in such short span of time, and a very innovative, very creative, own made way of his career. And this podcast is especially about his journey from an intern to a senior strategic HR business partner in one of the premium recruitment process outsourcing company of the world, Randstad. And before I formally invite him, I would also like to tell you that he is a multiple award winner. And since I cannot remember that exactly, so, I would like to request him only to share about the awards he has won in Randstad and other two areas. And Justin, it is such a pleasure. And I'm so happy to invite you here because I know my followers are going to learn the reality, the ground reality of an HR professional, his struggles, his challenges today. And for my dear followers, I would like to tell you that this is not just one podcast I'm going to do with Justice. I'm planning two other podcasts. One will be on HR analytics. Another will be on certified counseling certification. So before we move on today further, Justin, a very, very formal welcome to you. And I'm so thankful on behalf of Leader in Making for accepting our request and coming on ground with us. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a pleasure to be on the platform. I'm actually honored that you gave me this opportunity to be on your show. I love the way you gave the introduction. I was kind of quickly. It was a nostalgic feeling to go back, to understand, from where I started and where I am today, and to be a part of this, program. I think one of the things that I always believe in is to inspire others.
Sure.
And if you ask me, the purpose has always been the same, right? So if I can even inspire one person, that's I believe that has made a lot of difference, right? So being here, I think that I have at least reached a bit of what my purpose was.
True.
So yeah.
सो कैसे स्टार्ट किया, क्योंकि मुझे जो आपके इनपुट्स मिले हैं टीम से कि आपने 10th किया, उसके बाद आप 12th में यू फ्लंग, आई मीन दैट इज गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी वेरी मोटिवेशनल स्टोरी फॉर ऑल माय फॉलोअर्स कि अगर कहीं फेल हो जाए तो रुकना नहीं है, क्योंकि जिंदगी बहुत लंबी है एंड देयर इज सो मच टू अचीव इन लाइफ. फिर आपने इंजीनियरिंग करी, इंजीनियरिंग ड्रॉप आउट किया, फिर आपने ग्रेजुएशन करी और फिर आप एचआर की तरफ आपने मूव करा फ्रॉम आईएमटी गाजियाबाद. तो कैसी रही आपकी जर्नी, एजुकेशनल जर्नी, और कैसे आप यहाँ तक पहुंचे फ्रॉम एन इंटर्न टू अ प्रोफेशनल?
So, ma'am, ek to what I feel is that I always believe in that failure is never the end, right? It's always a stepping stone for at least for me. So when I look back, जब मैंने तो मेरी जब मैं स्कूल में था, I always wanted to be an army officer. That was my that was my goal. So
हाँ हाँ.
I was very very much passionate about it. I remember I used to follow a lot of I mean I was very even when during my train journeys and all as a child, जब भी मैं किसी army officer से मिलता था, I used to just sit there and talk to them. I was very passionate about it till my 10th. But what happened? So post, I mean, again, till 10th, I was having that dream. In fact, I remember I used to fight with my mom, dad to send me to a sainik school or army school because I thought that was again will make that career, right? But one thing I was sure that I was always focused on whatever my end goal was. लेकिन unfortunately, what happened is that जब मैंने 10th complete किया, I was diagnosed with diabetes. So that kind of I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, and that was a big blow to me. Because what happened is that even though I was physically kind of fit, like because मेरे को army में जाना था, so I used to work out, I used to go to gym, I started going to gym, I started learning taekwondo, karate and all, क्योंकि मेरे को लग रहा था कि ये मेरा aim है, तो मुझे work इसकी तरफ करना है.
जी.
But because when I was diagnosed with diabetes, that was a big blow because it kind of took me some time to realize कि with this is not a career that I will be able to go into. ठीक है,
Okay.
तो and that was that was kind of, I mean, I would say very honestly, for the first few years, I kind of went into depression to not being able to accept it, because मुझे लगता था कि मैं 10th के बाद आई विल ट्राई फॉर सैनिक स्कूल और आई विल राइट ए एनडीए एग्जाम, ऑल दोस थिंग्स, राइट? सो बट कभी उस तरह मतलब उसके बाद वो समझ में आ गया कि इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैव बी ईसी. आई स्टार्टेड बीइंग ऑन मेडिसिन, टेकिंग मेडिसिन एंड ऑल. So you can say that after 10th, what downfall kind of started from there, because 11th, 12th I did. I flunked in my 12th, and when I flunked in my 12th, it was kind of a mixed emotion. You know why? Because I was not ready to give up on my dream in a way. क्योंकि मैंने 10th के बाद I took a physics, chemistry, maths,
Okay.
knowing again thinking this कि I'll write an NDA exam, or
Okay.
I'll go to engineering. I was so much into this फील की मुझे पता था कि क्या क्या ऑप्शन है मेरे पास टू गेट इनटू आर्मी, इफ नॉट थ्रू अ डायरेक्ट एनडीए और थ्रू अनदर एग्जाम, और आई विल गो टू द टेक्निकल साइड, मे बी कंप्लीट माई इंजीनियरिंग एंड देन राइट फॉर अ टेक्निकल साइड ऑफ द थिंग. तो वो एक्सेप्टेंस जो उसके साथ, जो रियलिटी के साथ जो एक्सेप्टेंस है, उसके लिए मुझे बहुत टाइम लगा. तो व्हाट
Okay.
हैपेंड, आई वाज काइंड ऑफ फाइटिंग इट, knowing that I am not going to make it. So what
Okay.
happened, in 12th physics I flunked.
Okay.
And I won't say it was because I was poor in my academics, or I was not I was not studying. वो नहीं था. कहीं ना कहीं वो, that fight was inside me.
Okay.
ऐसा लग रहा था कि I
Internal
am
fight.
setting,
Hmm.
exactly, I was feeling that I am, setting up myself for a failure.
Okay.
So, and you won't believe, I flunked in 12th physics. I gave a compartment exam. First attempt, I cleared physics also. I
Okay.
didn't needed any support. I cleared it. And
Hmm.
then again, and that's again the other thing, I went ahead and wrote NDA exam 3 times.
Hmm.
The point and the thing was that I never truly prepared for that exam also, because
Okay.
जब भी एग्जाम दे रहा था पता था कि ये होना नहीं है,
इतना नहीं है.
आई कांट मेक इट, बट वो
हाँ.
अंदर इतनी ज्यादा वो था कि मतलब करना है, लिखना है एग्जाम, एटलीस्ट आई वांट टू गिव इट, आई शुडंट हैव एनी रिग्रेट लेटर. तो
Hmm.
I used to I used to get books, I used to study, and I used to just write. But I, even before writing the exam, in my mind I knew कि this is not gonna happen. तो वो
Okay.
हुआ. उसके बाद I went, because I couldn't clear NDA clearly, and then I went ahead and I did a engineering.
Okay.
Now, when I did engineering, again it was because my parents wanted me to go for an engineering. My cousins, people in my age group, they
Hmm.
were going for, my friends were going for an engineering. So, I mean, for everyone, that was the way. I mean, that was because everyone is going into engineering. Let him also go for an engineering. That was my way. My parents also thought, and inside me, what I was thinking is, okay, and let me do engineering, and then I'll write the technical exam of army. It was
Okay.
not because I wanted to do engineering or something. यही था कि एक और कोशिश करेंगे, एक और मौका
तो
मिलेगा
आर्मी
शायद
आपके
करने.
माइंड में हमेशा ही रहा इंजीनियरिंग के फर्स्ट ईयर तक भी. ओके.
Exactly. So, and I then went for an engineering. Okay. So I did it for 1 year, and in fact I remember जब मैं कर रहा था, I have a one of my uncles, very close uncle. He was he has a way of putting across very serious things in a very silly way, right? So one day I was talking to him, and he was trying to make me understand कि शायद you are chasing a goal which is kind of not
नॉट मेंट फॉर. ओके.
happen, yeah, not meant for me. So I still remember that day, I didn't accepted it. Rather, what I did is, like, I told him, I don't know how I'll be able to do it, but मुझे, in fact, I was very filmy in that way, that I told him, मरने से पहले आर्मी की यूनिफॉर्म पहनना है. एंड इट वाज सो स्ट्रांग दैट आई वाज वेरी क्लियर कि मुझे एयरफोर्स, नेवी नहीं, मुझे आर्मी में जाना है.
ओके.
I literally told him that I want to wear that, army uniform once. And that was also, and still I was fighting, I was not accepting. But kya hua, almost after, I strongly believe ki, when people go to engineering colleges and all, uh, I don't know how many of them come out as a true engineer, but one
ओके.
thing I'm very sure, these colleges actually, give you real life perspective, and, it changes your mindset. So that 1.5 years of engineering college kind of gave me a lot of real life, pictures in terms of, while going through the academics, that the first encounter with your seniors, you go through a lot of, I also happen to go through a lot of bullying and all those things. But
Okay.
those things kind of, I think molded me to, realize who I am, from within, it kind of, I would say it changed me completely to accept the reality, that, there are few things which is, which is very, very, which you cannot fight on always. So
So what was the
one
point when you decided to drop engineering and pursue other line of work or other line of educational qualification?
Yeah. So what happened during my engineering? There was an incident with my seniors where, I kind of went through a bullying, and I kind of tried to explain the same to my parents. Okay. Now what happened? They are not come. They don't come from such a, strong educational background. So they kind of, they don't understand how it works in, engineering colleges, or how it works, right? So for them, it was very difficult to understand what I was going through. I tried explaining multiple times, but it was not happening. So one point of time, I kind of thought, first of all, many of the things in life I cannot convince myself. And that's a big, drawback. I mean, if I am not convinced, how will I convince my parents or somebody else? I am not clear in my mind. I'm not still not clear why I'm doing engineering. So like I'm telling them about the challenges I'm facing while doing an engineering, but I am not clear why I'm doing an engineering, right? So
Mhm.
if I don't have clarity in life, what am I trying to tell them? So that
O-
was the point when it was kind of a gut feeling,
Okay.
I decided it's it, it's no more, I'm doing it. Let me, take my call. So that was the first time I would say I went against my parents' will, or I took a decision for myself, and I
Okay.
quit. For the first in 6 months, it was very difficult for my parents also to accept it, because they were totally, like they were not at all ready to accept that I just suddenly quit and
So
came
which
back.
course you opted for post engineering, dropping engineering?
Yeah, so post engineering, I did a BA English. That's my
Okay.
graduation.
Okay.
And again, I have my own funny reason why I took it. So when I came back, I was not sure what I had to do, right? So in fact, when I was going through a profile, I saw you are a career coach, right? For me at that point of time, I thought I was looking for a coach. I was looking for a mentor to guide me on, what should I do? What are my skills? What are my positive areas? But unfortunately, I couldn't find any. In fact, that was a moment I was not clear what I need to do. So and then again, people used to come up with suggestions. I still remember I had a lot of my relatives or people who were very close to me. They all came to me with very good, thoughts. People wanted me to pursue a BBA or a BCom because they
Okay.
thought that there is a scope in that area. But for the first time, I said no to everyone. I said, I will decide what I want to do. Be it whatever it is, I'll decide. So I chose to do a BA English again because of a very, I would say a gut feeling, because throughout my academics, I scored really good in English. In my 10th,
Okay.
even in my 12th, when I flunked in physics, I scored a 92 or 93 in my English in CBSE board.
In English.
So
Okay.
again, in English.
So I would
So
like to
what
tell my
happened?
followers here that, every time Justin is talking about gut feeling, and since beginning English was his USP. So this is a very good point for all our followers, that if you have a gut feeling that you have an inner strength, and English being his inner strength was something he has used till a point today. So post BA English, you immediately went for HR, a PGDBM?
Yes, I
Okay.
I, I went for a PGDM, not in HR. I went for a PGDM.
Okay.
The 3 years of my graduation, I really scored well in my graduation.
Okay.
Again, I didn't studied for it. I enjoyed my college days.
Okay.
After doing that, my point was that I wanted to earn money. I can't depend on my parents anymore. Because they have done so much for me till now. And I can't depend on them anymore. So I was like, how will I get into a job which will give me a job, which will give me a stable job, ASAP, where I can make money. That's where I went for a PGDM. My aim was to take international business
Okay.
in PGDM. But my college, the college where I went to, they didn't had, so they had a criteria that you need to have at least minimum 30 students in one specialization
So you're
to
talking about ITS Ghaziabad, Mohan Nagar.
ITS.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, so the other options were HR, marketing and sales, IT, operations and all. The college was really a premium B school in Delhi
Hmm.
and they were really good for marketing and sales, not
True.
into HR. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Then how
so
you
that
went into HR?
again that's again the thing. So what happened, I still remember my placement committee head ma'am telling me to pursue a market sales and marketing. I was
Okay.
in the placement students placement committee, but I again she tried her best to pursue me for sales and marketing, but I said no, I'm going for HR. And it was again a gut feeling. Why I'll tell you, because by that time I realized that one of my strong suit is to talk to people. I can go talk to people for and continuously for hours. I enjoy talking to people, understanding their perspective. So
Hmm.
I was like, HR is a better option than sales and
So
marketing.
you had your
Uh,
second potential identified. One was English, and second, you like talking to people. But I have seen
exactly.
your profile and you started your internship with CBRE, then you went to Geo, then Byju's,
Yes.
then IQVI, and then now into Randstad. Would you like to
Yes.
quickly help our students to understand what were your role from an intern to the point where are you right now? How you started with CBRE internship and what was the job role, your responsibility when you were an intern?
So CBRE was hiring HR intern. So I joined into the HRBP team in CBRE. It was a 1 month internship where I was closely working with HRBP head for India. So
Okay,
basically, at that point of time, they were into recruitment also. So I was supporting the HRBP team and the talent acquisition team. So
okay,
at that time, I started with sourcing, scheduling interviews and all.
okay,
But one thing that worked in my favor is that by the time of I completed 1 month, I realized the potential of networking. Right, so I
okay.
started working with all the HR departments in CBRE. I was very fortunate that the leaders also accepted me there. So I worked with the L&D team for a small period of time. I got to work with the engagement team there. In fact, I got to work with the labor compliance team also of the CBRA. And so I kind of ventured into all the things. I was like, whoever is giving me work, I am ready to do it. That was my motto. So 2 months, so 1 month of internship, it got, I could complete it for 2.5 months of, internship. They
Okay.
requested my college to extend my internship period. So by the 2.5 months, I did my internship, and by the end of the internship, I had two appreciation letters from two department heads from CBRA.
So
One was
can
from the
you
general.
tell us, our followers, that when somebody is moving into HR internship, like
Mhm.
CBRE, I would like to tell all my followers that you must Google CBRE. It's one of the topmost firm in the world for its own line of work. So when you are guiding, people on our channel, freshers who are moving into HR internship, what
Mhm.
kind of expectation these HR aspirants should have from an internship, and what you feel is required to grab this good internship?
So one is that never have kind of never have a thought in your mind that this is exactly what I want to do in my internship. Be open. Be open to explore. Be open to understand new things. So for me, at that point of time, I was thinking I'll go into L&D. L&D would be my HR career. I will go into L&D career and all. But once I got into the internship, once I got to work with different vertical heads, I kind of understood what exactly a TA does, what exactly HRBP does, what exactly does a compliance team, legal compliance team in HR does. So that kind of made me understand so basically it was a practical knowledge of what I studied in my theories. So the thing is, I never really enjoyed the theoretical perspective of few verticals in HR, but once I started working in them, I really started enjoying it. So the point is, go, get your hands dirty with whatever you're getting, when
Okay.
you are in an internship, and that's it. Have an open mind. That's exactly what
Okay.
I did.
So do you feel any HR specific certification student needs to grab before moving even for an HR internship?
Not really. I
Okay.
had a thought at that point of time that this is one another way of doing it.
Hmm.
But I at this point of time, I think that's not the right way of doing it, because I also did one certifications, but it didn't really help me at that point of time.
Okay.
While when you are doing a certification, you're putting in your money, you're putting in your efforts, time into it to do it. But the question is, are you doing the practical side of it? So if you are not doing the practical side of it, there's no point of putting it at that point of time. You can still do it later point of time in your career.
Okay. So post CBRE, how you move towards the role strategic HR business partner where you are right now? If you can quickly let us know.
Yeah, so I did my post my completion of course, there was no much campus interviews coming in. So I got
Okay.
an open, it was an off-campus interview that was being held in Jaipur for Reliance Jio. They were doing an
Okay.
off-campus interview. So there were 300 plus students coming across from different place participating in it. I went there, it was off campus, and I cleared the interview there. And that's how I landed into my first job as a HR BP. Now,
Okay.
a few things that I want to tell you is they were selecting HRBP's trainees throughout the country. I had
Okay.
no idea what the vision was. I was just thinking, this is my job. I want to crack this job into. I want to get into this job. Uh, I was so stunned by the vision of that organization at that point of time, which I realized only after joining the organization, that where I landed myself. It was I think it was one of the best opportunity an HR student can get into their life. I had such a wonderful training in that organization. So
So what
the
was your
point
job
is,
role as a HRBP? Our students would like to know what you exactly did in that particular role.
I was area HR trainee. I was handling 60% of the HR generalist role and 40% into the talent acquisition space.
Okay.
When I say area HR trainee, I was given an area in Rajasthan, which is
Okay.
Udaipur. I used to handle the entire recruitment and the employee related concerns for that particular area.
Okay. Okay. And then post Geo, you went to Byju's.
Yes, that's again because I get gut feeling. So Byju's at that point of time offered Byju's that when I joined Byju's, that was exactly the month when Byju's started sponsoring Indian cricket team. So when this
Okay.
opportunity came to me, I thought this I should take this opportunity because they were giving a good hike for sure.
Okay.
Secondly, secondly the role was of a TA manager. So talent acquisition, as I said, is one I would say it was not very strong suit of mine, but I was very sure that I want to get into that role also, explore that role, understand that role better because of for my career, path that I have for myself. I wanted to learn the TA space also. So I was thinking if I fail in that role also, it's better to fail in an earlier period in your career. So that's where I took the role of a recruitment manager in Byju's. I was there in that role for 1 year.
Okay. 1 year. And then you moved
Yeah,
to IQVIA. What was that role?
again HRBP role.
Acha. I would like you to let us know top 5 job responsibility when you are human resource business partner with any organization, because people would like to know the job responsibilities in HRBP, because you have been into 2 organizations for HRBP now.
Yeah. So the way I look at the HRBP role, ma'am, it's first and foremost. So if you ask me, uh, it's a HRBP works as a bridge between the organization and the employees.
Okay.
And when we say our organization and employees, so employer reaches out to HRBP mostly with their queries, concerns, right?
Okay.
And but then earlier in the beginning, I thought it was all about solving employee concerns,
Okay.
but that's not the real job of HRBP.
Sure.
For HRBP, I think the first thing starts from understanding the business. Whatever the business that you are into, understand the business in and out. Because once only when you understand the business will you be able to give a proper answer to the employee concerns also that comes across. So as I transitioned into TA, and then I again transitioned into HRBP, because by the time I realized that HRBP is the person who can understand the business really well. So I worked with 4 different industries so far. I worked with telecom, I moved to edtech, I moved to healthcare, and currently I'm in the recruitment consultancy business, right? So
Yeah.
in all these four industries, I think that I love the most is knowing the business. I understand the telecom business in and out now. How if you take a SIM card, what is the business that goes behind that. Then I moved to edtech. I understand how edtech works as a business. Then from there to healthcare, and now with recruitment. So that is what kind of excites me, and I think that's what the HRBP role is all about.
And
Understanding business.
I think that's your USP also, because handling the same function across multiple industry is a very
Yeah.
big advantage for a professional like you. So when
Correct.
you are now as a strategic HR business partner in Randstad, which is RPO,
Hmm.
what you do exactly in this role, and do you also faced any challenge while you shifted industry and industry?
Yes. So one thing is, it's when in my current role, I handle the RPO, MSP, and the BPO business for Randstad. It's not just RPO, but my majority chunk is with RPO. Like 70% is with RPO, 20% with MSP, and another 10% with the BPO business. The challenges, I would say, again, when I am a person who always looks up for challenges, even now I look at my next level as I would want the most difficult job to come to me. That's how I've been thinking about it all this while. And in earlier in my career only, I think within 1 or 2 years of my career, I realized one thing. While we talk about performance management, while I talk about talent management and all those things, one thing that I personally learned in my journey is, there's a quote which I always keep telling my people close to me, right? I would always love to be a meet expectation in a very challenging job role than being an outperformer in a least challenging role.
Okay.
What that means is, people usually try to be outperformer with less amount of work, with less amount of they want to be in their comfort zone. For me, I never want to be in a comfort zone, but I'm always so up for taking up a challenging role, and giving my best into that, because that is what has helped me so far in my career. So when I switched industries, as you rightly asked, there have been a lot of challenges, because it's a new industry. When you are in the same industry, you kind of understand this. I feel this the learning becomes stagnant after a point of time. But when you are getting into a new industry, it's altogether, you're starting from the base. You need to understand the business. I said business is everything. Your HR functional knowledge will only help you out once you understood the business. Until and unless you don't understand the business, HR functional knowledge will not help you out. So
Okay.
that's what I
Okay.
love. Yeah.
So that's a very big learning for all the subscribers, that if you really want to move into HR, any role, first you have to understand the industry. This I have been telling on my channel time and again, that
Yeah.
understand the business line of the company. You need to understand which industry you are working, and in that particular industry, in that umbrella, for which organization you are working, and within that organization, what is the specific line of business, the products and services. And I'm so thankful, Justin, that with so many changes industry on industry, you have been able to grab the essence of each and every business line. And the beauty of your profile, that you had a beautiful focus on your HR function, but you were keeping an equal eye on the business line of the organization. So tell me
True.
something, because we just have 5 minutes for this particular podcast. And in next podcast, I'm going to talk about HR analytics course in detail, a
Sure.
huge buzz on our channel, and also the certified counseling certification.
Yeah.
How a fresher can enter into your line of work, human resource business partner or strategic HR business partner, because strategic is talk about the strategies of the business organization.
True.
If a person is from HR and a person is not from HR, if you can quickly guide our people here.
So, if a person, okay, so let me tell, if a person is from the HR background, ma'am. So first thing is, once you get into a HR career, the initial phase can be, you can get into any particular stream of the HR. You can be in talent acquisition, L&D, or in any other field. So why I'm telling this, because in an organization, if you look at, the more roles will be open for a talent acquisition space, not for a HRBP role or for a L&D role, right? So
True,
initially when you get,
absolutely.
yeah, once you get into it, whatever role comes your way, you grab it, right? Now once you grab it, you should always have a solving mindset, with you, within you. That's what is mostly important in a HRBP role, right? So be in any role, if you have a problem solving attitude, problem solving mindset, once you have that, I would say, once you start having some experience, try applying for HRBP role through an IJP, or when you can apply outside also, but mostly it's through an IJP that you get into a HRBP role from a, TA or any other vertical of HR. But when you do that, understand when you are applying for IJP or when you are applying for a role change, you need to be with the organization for some time. You need to, you need to be seen as a person who is capable of problem solving. You need to have and another thing which I think that has helped me a lot, which I clearly got as a feedback from my seniors also, is to have an observation skill.
Sure.
Observe everything that goes around you, and have an understanding about it. You don't have to comment on it, but you need to understand what's happening around you. So that's another thing for people from HR. For people not from HR, I think there should be an interest. There should be a keen interest to, having a mindset to solve people issues or, business challenges. And then, try applying for IJPs. IJPs are the best way to move to HR. But the whole point is you should be having a, human mindset. When I say human mindset, uh, while you are solving your technical issues or your product related things, always think it from a HR, from a human perspective, or as a from a, even when you are in sales or in any other role, when you are talking as a product manager or as a sales manager, think from the employee perspective, think from the customer perspective. And I think that's one way of looking at it.
Sure. So when Justin is telling about IJP, people will think what is
Uh,
IJP? This is internal job
Internal
posting. What
job
he's trying to
postings.
say that in a particular organization, and I would like to add on with my input, if you're happy with the culture, the environment, the overall employee policy, try to shift from one function to another function through an internal job posting. So the benefit is that you are already a trusted employee of an organization and you will be well accepted and trained for the new role. Is that what you're trying to say, Justin?
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Thank you.
So
Thank you for putting it right.
how much certifications you feel really help an individual apart from
Certifications.
formal education, which is a must?
Yeah, certifications do help you a lot because that will help you grab a little bit more, insight information in that particular area that you are taking the certification in. While you are having a general studies in your masters, certifications actually help you understand. So, for example, for me, the certification that few certification I did, after doing those certification, I feel that there are few areas where I want to learn more.
Sure.
Say for example, the psychology
Technically
part, human
also, yeah, the
psychology.
functions
Yeah,
also. Sure.
so that is the way I look at it. And certifications are the best way to understand what you want to do more. Like do
Okay.
any kind of certifications, then you pick up few things where you actually want to go deeper into that particular area.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah.
I would like to put a halt to our first episode here, the podcast series with you. And I'm so glad that we are ending the first episode on the note of certification. And for my dear followers, in my second episode, I'm going to talk about certifications only because HR analytics is a very well known, accepted, and I think one of the most needed certification in the industry. Be it any industry, you need to have HR analytics certification, whether you are in any function of HR, HR gamut. So the second episode will talk about why Justin did HR analytics from IIM Rohtak and what difference he feel doing HR analytics from this institution, not doing from others like Udemy, Coursera, or for that matter, any other thing. Also, Justin, we would like to request you that if you can help us in going through the broader content, what is being taught in HR analytics and how the certification can be used to enhance your technical skills and your overall profile and resume. So I'll definitely meet you soon on the second episode. Anything you would
Sure.
like to still share in just 30 seconds, your last message to the fresher for this particular episode? Just 30
Ma'am,
seconds.
the only thing is, have an interest, have a passion towards the work that you do, right? Be it and if you are in HR especially, you need to have passion. HR, I feel it's not, without passion you can't work in this field. The challenges are very 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 diverse. It is a very challenging job. So having passion, I think, is the key to have a great career in HR.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Follow the passion, follow leader in making. Upcoming with the second episode very soon with Justin. Thank you so much, Justin. See you soon.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.